Hi everyone, welcome back again. So it's just going to be another real quick video today, hopefully. I just wanted to get my garlic planted out. Now the weather's not great, it's been raining a lot, but it's not too cold at the moment, so hopefully if I can get them in, they'll have a chance to sprout before the frosts come in. But the garlic's pretty tough, so you can get that in autumn, preferably before winter, but I'm sure you can just put them in and they should be fine. So the variety I have got, if I can get on camera, is white Casablanca. I'm not sure if that's showing backwards to you. I'm using the other camera, so I flipped it around. So if that comes out backwards, I don't know why. But this is white Casablanca, and I've got 2 cloves in there. And each clove will probably have about 8-10 little bulblets. So all I've got to do is separate them and go and dig over a little bit of the bed over there. I'm not going to do the whole thing, I'm just going to do a little bit, plant the garlic and then leave it. I just want to get it in the ground as soon as possible. I could have got it in a bit earlier, maybe October would have been ideal. Then it gets more chance to grow and establish itself a bit before winter comes. But anyway, so I'll get these cloves separated off from these bulbs, and I will go and dig over a bit of the bed and we'll get them planted. So stay tuned and I will get back to you in a minute. Okay, so this is the garlic that I've got. It says I can plant it September, October or November. So the 9th, 10th or 11th month. We're in November now, so we should be alright. Sun to half sun or half shade. Tells you how big they get, how far to plant them apart, 20 centimetres or so. And June onwards. I don't know why it says June onwards, but then in there, maybe that's when they harvest. But it doesn't matter too much as far as I'm aware. They do take quite a while to grow. So all you got to do is, these are the cloves, or these are the bulbs, and they contain individual cloves, so you just break them apart. It can be quite tough, but they're pretty, you shouldn't damage them. You just got to rip them all apart, and each individual clove can be planted. Sometimes some of them will start sprouting already, like you see that one there. Started sprouting on there, so I'll just get all these separated. By the looks of it, there's quite a few on each one, so we'll get them in. Okay, so they're all separated now, and I've got 30 good ones. You can see a lot of them have started sprouting, which is fine. You don't need to peel them completely, just separate the cloves. Be a bit careful. With a few of them I have accidentally peeled off more than I needed, which can encourage them to start rotting if you accidentally peel it right down to the actual garlic clove. And some of these were rotten in the bag, which is a bit annoying because I only bought these not so long ago. And I've disposed of some of the smaller ones, even though they're perfectly fine, but the bigger ones will grow better. And any that have started rotting, like that one, even that still started sprouting, I'll just dispose of them. I've got plenty there, 30's fine for me. So we'll take them over to the vegetable bed. I've got to do a little bit of weeding and dig it over a little bit. So I'll probably get that done off camera, because I don't want to bore you. And then I'll show you how I plant them. Okay, so this is my main growing bed. In the last video we pulled up all the old plants which had died off. So I'm going to plant the garlic in here, and I'm going to try and keep him towards the front of this bed, because that's where the sun kind of comes in across there, so they'll be quite small compared to other things which I'll plant when spring comes. So I'm going to get them along the front here, maybe do a few rows sort of in the middle of this bed here. I'm avoiding down there because it gets quite wet because we're on a hill, and plus it is shaded by the hedges, and I want them to get plenty of light and not get too wet. So I'm thinking from about where the fork is, sort of along there, you knock a square, and then they should do quite well there, hopefully. So I've got my spade, I've got my shovel, my spade and my fork, sorry, and a wheelbarrow, which is where all the weeds are going to go. So I'm just going to give it a real quick weed, maybe redo this edge a little bit with a spade, just cut along there, give it a quick dig over, pull out the worst of it. I could just poke holes and put them straight in, but I want to get some of the weeds out, so I'll get that done, and then I will get back to you before I plant the garlic. Alright, so I've just given that a bit quick dig over. So I'm going to do 3 rows of 10, so I've done it, so I've got enough room to do 1, 2, 3 rows 10, and then obviously down that way. Now, it's a bit wet out here, but the soil's not looking too bad, full of worms, which is good. I like to see worms. So what I'll probably do now is, over in the greenhouse, take you over there quickly, and I've got some pots of compost from what I grew tomatoes in, so I'll probably just empty 2 of them in there, just to bulk up the soil a bit more, get a bit more goodness in there. So I'll just take 2 of these over, empty them on there, give it a quick mix in, and then plant the garlic. Okay, so I added them 2 flower pots of old compost, and I'll give it a little mix in, and just using my fork I've patted it down a bit and tried to get as level as I can. It doesn't matter too much, don't worry about the roots and stuff. These are all just old tomato roots or cucumber roots, so there's no point in taking them all out. They'll just break down and they will feed the soil. You don't need to bother about removing leaves, bits of grass, unless there's a root on there. Most things won't grow from either leaves or just root, so obviously there's exceptions, things that will grow, like these things, these weeds, whatever it is, with these big thick white roots. If you see anything like that, definitely get all the roots out. But this is all like tomato roots and stuff. I could have left it in there, but took out the bulk of it, which I could get hold of. So that's ready to be planted now. So I've got a stick which I use as a dibber, so I'm not one for using exact measurements, so I'm just going to go around with my stick, poke 30 holes in, more or less 20 centimeters or so apart, and then drop my garlic cloves into the holes. Okay, so now it's time to make the holes for the garlic. You can buy in the shops, you can buy dibbers for making holes, but that seems like a bit of a waste of money to me. So I've just got a bit of this is a bit of hazelwood, I believe, and I've just rounded off the end with a knife, and I use that as a dibber. Or you can just get any old stick. There's a bit of apple wood there, just a branch that I've pruned off of another tree, something like that. It's perfectly fine. Anything you can use to make a hole, really. You don't have to buy anything. So I'll get these holes in, and I'm going to bury the whole garlic probably just underneath the surface, so it's not sticking out. If you leave them sticking out, the birds tend to pull them, so get it buried in there so the roots can get in and it will sort itself out, and that way hopefully it will get its roots down before the birds come along and pull it out. So I'll get these holes done and I'll get back to you in a minute and just show you how I plant them. Right, so there's my 30 holes in. I've done them a bit deeper than I need to. So rather than backfill them, what I'm going to do is take some more compost and just fill them in a little bit, But the idea is, I will show you one. So I've done them holes probably about 4 or 5 inches deep, so just because I was struggling to get the soil to not collapse back in on itself. So all you can do is fill them back in a bit, and then take your garlic. So the flat bit on the bottom here is where the root will come out, and the pointy bit is where the green growth will come out. So I'll show you one that's already sprouted. So as you can see there, that green bit, or the pointy bit, needs to go up, and you just press them in, probably about an inch or so below the surface is fine. Some people leave them pointing out a bit, some people bury them deeper. I've tried it all different ways, it makes not really any difference at all, so it's up to you how you do it. As long as they're in there, they should be fine. But by burying them, I think it gives them a chance to root themselves in before anything can see them to come along and pull them out. So I'll get the rest done. I'm just using this compost. This is just multi-purpose compost, old multi-purpose compost. Don't throw it away at all. Don't ever throw away old compost. You can reuse it. You can spread it on your veg garden. You can even reuse it for potting things on. Just add a bit of fertiliser, a bit of bloodfish and bone or chicken manure fertiliser. You can use the Miracle Grow stuff, just mix it in, revitalise the nutrients in there. But I tend to go with the natural approach rather than using chemical fertilisers. I like to think that you're feeding the soil, and what you feed it is what you're going to get out of it. So I avoid chemicals almost all the time. So anyway, I'll get these planted. Okay, so I'm just finishing up. I've got 10 left to do. Maybe a few more actually. I don't know why there's more. I could have sworn I counted 10, but never mind. But I want to show you another quick tip. So here's the hole. I've just backfilled it with the compost. So another way you can do this, if your ground's quite soft, take your garlic in between your 3 fingers, and if you just push it in, more or less the finger's length is probably the perfect depth. So I'll show you again. Push it right down, and that will be the perfect depth to plant your bulbs, your cloves. So again, that's the top where the sprouts coming out. Bottom's this more flat bit. And so I'll get the rest done. Got like 5 more to do. So the last one's going in now. And as you can see, as I plant each one, I pat it down. Not only does it help the soil settle around it, you can also see which ones you've done. So the last one was around about here. So that's all 30 cloves of garlic in. The rest of that tub of compost, or wherever I put it, over there, I'll just sprinkle on top, and then I'll gently firm it down. For some reason I've got 3 more here, so I must have counted 33, because I swear I did 10 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I? I might have done 9. Not to worry. We can always put them in another time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe I did just do 9. Never mind. So we've either got 30 or 27 garlic in there. Okay everyone, so all the garlic's in now, and I've just firmed down the compost just a little bit, and hopefully within the next few weeks, they don't normally take too long to start coming up, so they should be up pretty soon, and hopefully that will give me a nice crop of garlic. They're ready probably end of next summer, sort of July time I reckon. Maybe a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit later, depends on the weather. Now all I've got to do is hope that nothing pulls them out, nothing digs them out and eats them. It shouldn't do. So again, just to catch up, the variety is white Casablanca, and these are, doesn't really give me any information on them, but if you want to look them up you can. So on the next video I'll be planting out some onion sets. Again, probably left it a bit late, but I've got these snowball ones and electric, these red ones, and I've picked up 50 of each. It does say on here June onwards you can plant these. So we're in November, obviously that is June onwards, maybe be a bit late, but again with the onions they're completely hardy, so they can survive winter and frost and stuff. I've had onions and garlic in the ground, buried under snow for ages, and then carry on growing, so they'll be fine as long as they can. I think they need to get going a bit before we get a really cold weather, so it's been a bit of a funny year, so hopefully we'll still be alright. The coldest temperature we've had so far is, if I look at my thermometer down there in the greenhouse, this is 0.5 degrees Celsius. I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit, so sorry for you Americans. I could convert it, but I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much for watching everyone. Hope you enjoyed today's video, hope you found it useful. If you did, if you could subscribe to me, that would be great, and don't forget to like the video. Any questions, leave me a comment down below, and I will see you on the next one. Hope you all have a great week. See you later.